Hey guys, it's Chris. From the man who died getting stuck in his girlfriend's cat door to the magician who made a fatal mistake, here are 10 of the dumbest ways to die. Number 10. Stuck in the cat door. After a woman in Florida kicked out her boyfriend, she was absolutely shocked to find him trying to sneak back into her house through the cat door. The boyfriend's name was Charles Tucker Jr., a 33-year-old man who got stuck in the cat door and died. The girlfriend phoned the police when she found him. They arrived approximately 4 minutes later, but Charles was already dead. He was found with one arm through the door and his head crammed in beside it. He obviously had not been able to fit his body through that cat door. He was just way too big. Police think he was trying to reach up to unlock the door, while this desperate ex-boyfriend's attempt at seeing the girl who kicked him out of his house resulted in his death. Imagine trying to break into your ex-girlfriend's house like a creepy stalker and strangling yourself in a cat door. Who knew that one door for a little kitty could be a death trap for a grown man? Now that's a dumb way to die. Number 9. The hickey of death. In Mexico City, a 17-year-old boy died from getting a hickey. According to the reports, Julio Gonzalez had to get emergency medical treatment after he suffered convulsions at the dinner table. And it all happened after going out with his girlfriend. Unfortunately, the paramedics were not able to save him. But they did find a huge purple hickey on the boy's neck, and the doctors believe it was the hickey that caused him to convulse and die. But how is that even possible? Doctors say the hickey formed a blood clot that traveled straight to the young man's brain, causing him to have a stroke as he tried to eat dinner. According to a stroke expert contacted by CBS News New York after the story, this kind of thing is highly unlikely, but it is indeed possible. Neurologist Dr. Mitchell L. Kind says direct pressure on the carotid artery can be enough to tear the vessel, resulting in a blood clot that rushes to the brain. It's incredibly rare, but it does happen. There was even another recorded case of a 44-year-old woman in New Zealand becoming paralyzed in 2011 after a hickey gave her a blood clot in her heart. I can only imagine how horrible the boy's girlfriend must have felt after she found out that sucking her boyfriend's neck ultimately caused his death. So let this be a warning to you, love bites can kill. Number 8. Grandmother pipe bomb. Yet another death has occurred because of a gender reveal party. A 66-year-old woman named Pamela Cray Meyer was pronounced dead after she was killed at a party in Iowa. It was being held for her kid who was about to have a baby, making her a grandmother. Well, she'll never be a grandmother now since a piece of shrapnel from what is being called a pipe bomb hit her in the head and killed her. This happened in Knoxville on a Saturday afternoon when the gender reveal contraption, a homemade device stuffed full of gunpowder, exploded and sent metal shrapnel flying all over the place. She was standing about 45 feet away and it still hit her. According to ABC News, the woman died at the scene. Marion County Sheriff Jason Sandholt said the family had gathered for what was supposed to be a happy event, but the makeshift device filled with colored powder and gunpowder didn't work the way it was intended. The family had gathered outside to light a fuse on the device when it immediately exploded. The device was made out of a metal tube and covered with a board. It was basically a pipe bomb. The shoddy craftsmanship resulted in the death of an almost grandmother. So maybe next time just bake a pink or blue cake or pop a balloon with blue or pink confetti. And just 2 years ago in Green Valley, Arizona, a different explosion set off at a gender reveal party sparked a massive wildfire which burned down 47,000 acres of the Colorado National Forest. The guy that did it had to pay over $8 million in restitution and serve 5 years on probation. People are trying to get way too creative with these reveals, and the results can be deadly. Number 7. Death by car wash. A 39-year-old man in Texas has been killed in a freak accident. It's arguably one of the most embarrassing deaths that you've ever heard of. This poor guy died after getting stuck inside of a car wash in the middle of a normal Friday afternoon. Paramedics were called after witnesses saw what was happening to the poor guy and quickly began life-saving measures. And they did actually manage to get him to Parkland Hospital pretty fast. But unfortunately, it was too late and he was pronounced dead upon arrival. But just how exactly did this guy get stuck inside of a car wash? According to the police, he was an employee at the Washmaster's car wash and had been working around the machine and then, by some ridiculous twist of fate, ended up getting stuck inside of the spinning equipment. It was a total fluke accident. The poor guy basically got cleaned to death. And authorities are now investigating how exactly this happened so that hopefully it never happens again. Does this give you fear of car washes? Let me know in the comments below. And while you're at it, Like this video and subscribe if you haven't already. Number 6. Taco Tuesday to death. Who doesn't love tacos? I love tacos. You probably love tacos. Everyone kinda loves tacos. Well, this family probably has no love left for the popular food item. The family of a California man is suing the organizers of a taco eating contest after the poor man died during the festivities. The family is claiming that it was negligence that resulted in him dying because of eating too many tacos on August 13th of 2019. The suit was filed by Marshall Hutchins, the 18-year-old son of 41-year-old Dana Hutchins, who died after choking to death on a taco. Marshall claims that his father was not made aware of the kinds of dangers and risks associated with taco eating contests. But let's get real here. Everyone who enters a taco eating contest is well aware of what they're doing. The plain fact of the matter is that Dana Hutchins was not ready for the challenge. He'd never done any events similar to the taco eating contest and was clearly an amateur. He collapsed only minutes into the eating contest. The coroner determined that he died from stuffing too many tacos into his mouth at the same time and then choking. As embarrassing and dumb as it is, filing a lawsuit isn't going to change the fact that Dana died trying to eat a taco. Number 5. TikTok Blackout Challenge. In more tragic news, a young boy died after being stuck on life support for 3 weeks following his participation in a deadly TikTok challenge. The tragedy occurred when Joshua, only 12 years old, was discovered unconscious on March 22nd after he choked himself into a blackout in response to something going around on TikTok known as the Blackout Challenge or the Passout Challenge. It's also being called the game of choking, speed dreaming, and the fainting game. The Colorado boy was on life support for 19 days before he died. Now here's the deal. TikTok is inadvertently responsible for a lot of accidents and a lot of silliness. Young kids aren't quite developed enough to understand the dangers all around them. But to be fair, choking yourself unconscious is a pretty downright poor decision. Hopefully this kind of thing doesn't happen more and more as younger people spend increasing amounts of time mimicking what they see on the internet, including crazy challenges that threaten their lives. Number 4. Boba blockage. A girl in China has died because of bubble tea. Yes, for real. This young girl was only 19 years old when she bought herself a delicious bubble tea. You may also know of bubble tea as boba tea or pearl milk tea. It's super popular in Taiwan and China, and if you've never had it before, it's basically a delicious tea with large balls known as pearls that you can chew on while you're drinking the tea. But apparently these pearls can be quite dangerous. The young girl in China got too many of them stuck in her windpipe, and ultimately they choked her to death. But what's really crazy is that the girl was with her friends, and they tried to help her get the pearls out of her throat, but nothing could be done. The girl's hands turned black. Her friends rushed her to the hospital, and even though a doctor performed cardiopulmonary resuscitation, she still died. And all because she wanted some tea. Even though this doesn't happen often, some medical experts have warned that bubble tea can actually be very dangerous. It's extremely easy to choke on the round pearls due to their slippery texture. In the case of this poor girl, it was actually her asthma that killed her. The pearls got lodged in her windpipe and caused her to have an asthma attack, which ended up being fatal. Number 3. Magic gone wrong. The body of a magician was recently found floating in a river after the magician failed to pull off his magic trick. There's nothing more embarrassing as a magician than botching one of your own tricks in the public's eye, but failing your trick so badly that you end up washed out in the river takes things to a special level of stupidity. The incident happened in India. Chanchal Lahiri was trying to complete an escape trick inspired by Harry Houdini, in which he was submerged underwater and bound in chains. He had his hands tied behind his back, his legs bound with rope. He was supposed to free himself from the chains and the ropes and then resurface. This guy was so serious about his trick that he even had a crane lower him into the water. But after 30 minutes, the witnesses became extremely concerned and called the authorities. Lahiri had performed a similar illusion in 2013 when he escaped from a locked cage submerged in a river. But onlookers could see him use a door to set himself free, and they were so upset about him trying to trick them that they assaulted him when he got out of the water. Much to everyone's disappointment, this time, Lahiri never figured out how to get out of his chains and the ropes. People magazine reported that Lahiri had been trying to revive interest in magic by doing extreme tricks. And drowning in a river probably didn't help. How do you feel about magic tricks like this? Let me know in the comments. Number 2. Vaping tragedy. Imagine wanting to fit in with your friends so badly that it ends up killing you. That's exactly what happened to a 15-year-old kid in Texas after becoming the youngest ever victim of e-cigarettes. This guy literally vaped himself to death. The teen's identity has never been released to the public out of concern for his family. But we do know that the Texas teen was the 57th confirmed death related to vaping. According to the CDC's latest reports, there have also been at least 2,600 hospitalizations because of vaping. Those are outrageous numbers. It's even been called one of the fastest and most serious epidemics to ever sweep across the United States, disproportionately affecting kids and teens. The CDC has even advised people against using vaping products and warned them to look out for symptoms like chest pain and fever. At the end of the day, nobody really knows just how dangerous vaping is. But we all know how much teenagers like doing it, and it's kind of hard to imagine anything dumber than dying from vaping. Before you try to be cool and fit in with your friends who all vape, just remember this story. Number 1. Sucked into the machine. In China, a factory worker met his doom while placing what appeared to be a sheet of newspaper onto a printing press machine. This happened in a paper mill factory. The poor guy literally got sucked into a giant spinning spool. And to make things worse, the whole ordeal was caught on video. The employee was tinkering with the machine, probably doing the same thing he did every day. And suddenly his arm got stuck inside the spinning wheel. Within just mere seconds, he was sucked into the machinery and then terribly mangled by all the spinning equipment. It started and finished in the blink of an eye. Even though the worker's colleagues rushed to his aid, he was already gone. There was no trace of him after being slurped into the huge industrial machine. It was kind of like something out of a Final Destination movie, and honestly a little hard to believe. While we don't have any news reports confirming his condition after the terrifying incident, it's safe to say he was probably ripped to shreds. Thanks for watching. What do you think would be the most embarrassing way to die? Let me know in the comments, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button for more amazing videos. I'll see you next time.